What's up, everybody? Good to see you guys out there. It is, of course, your boy, Andrew Esquire, the Legal Mindset. We teach you to be your own judge. Coming to you today, once again, from Tokyo, Japan. Hope you guys are doing well out here. We've got a good one for you today. We're going to go in, busted some Disney on their claims about Epic Universe, their filings, sort of a lawsuit update at where the different suits are, because we definitely have some action in the federal suit coming up shortly. And of course, this is a live, no premiere today, although I do hope you guys enjoyed the premiere the other day. I want to give a big shout out to Ronnie C, Mr. Ron Coleman, becoming a member. Appreciate you, Ronnie. Thank you so much for interviewing me, coming on your channel. It's great to talk about Disney. And I'm glad you joined the Base Legal Mindset. You're now an official BLM member. You said it. Ronnie Coleman joined the BLM. So it's very good to have you in there. And guys, you members make it happen for you, whether you're superstars like Ronnie C, or whether you're mere plebs like, I don't know, who can I call a pleb here? Danielle, mere plebs. I love you, Danielle. I'm kidding. Mike L, Deha Co, what's going on? Andrew F, W Daisy Williams. I see you guys over there, the members of the chat. Sleazy, Grant Rasha, Ona Wall, Legendary Racing, Don Baca. I see you guys over there in the chat and appreciate all you members out there, especially the OGs, people that have been hanging out with us for a while. Ron, one thing I got to ask you is, brother, did you tell Nick Rekieta that his belt was questionable? Did you point out to him? Because I saw those Mar-a-Lago pics. We've all seen them. And you were dressed immaculately. You were a gentleman and a scholar. Nick Rekieta, on the other hand, looks like he just came from an Avril Lavigne concert circa the 90s. I'm just saying. I'm just bringing that out there for all the people to see. But other than that, what's up to everybody? Also, what's up to everybody on Rumble? Good to see everybody over there. Quick shout out to Flobby, Fepus, Mr. Cage Gaming, Errant, all those on Rumble. And Rage on Rumble said, how are the Thailand ladies? I mean, I wouldn't know right now. I'm in Tokyo. The Japanese ladies are doing just fine. So that I can absolutely confirm. And also shout out to the people on locals as well. Sleazy, Legendary Racing. Okay, somebody is mentioning that I'm streaming at the same time as Valiant. Valiant actually asked me to come on, earlier. I had I have the DMs from Valiant right here, my homie. We got our conversation going. But I am in Tokyo. I'm on a pretty tight schedule today, so I couldn't go on his channel. He did invite me on. I do appreciate that. Senpai appreciates it. But your boys got to do what your boys got to do. Your boys got to go out here and get it done. So we're streaming now. I do try to collaborate with those guys, and obviously I will be. I absolutely will be going on his show for the earnings call. So I have to wake up ridiculously early in the morning, but I'll do it because I think there's a big chance of more actionable statements at the earnings call. There's a chance, again, especially this quarter, of Iger saying something at the earnings call that ends up in another lawsuit. We've already seen that happen. We've literally seen his words from the earnings calls end up in a lawsuit, specifically the shareholder lawsuits. So what we're going to end up with is a lot of scrutiny on this earnings call, because Iger could end up slipping out and making a statement that ends up in yet another lawsuit. And there's a lot potentially lined up, including, by the way, if you guys watched my premiere the other day on Gina Carano, I think Gina Carano has a damn good case, a damn good potential case against Disney for its use of bots. It is actually possible to track down those bots and pin those to Disney, which, if you can do that, defamation's looking pretty good. Defamation's looking pretty damn good. But good to see people piling in here as well. I see Tianini and some others piling in here. Alien Renders. Good to see you guys. Ice Cold Wolf. Good you guys seeing there. Tokyo, Thailand, Iceberg, Greenberg. No. Big difference. Andrew F says Japanese women still marriageable. They're all married. There's a lot of marriageable women here. Very much so. But of course, your boy stays the most eligible bachelor in the Orient. So let's jump in here to the status of the state case. Okay, so I just want to give you guys a quick update on the state case. So we're going to talk today about both the federal and the state case. Now, there's a new article and there's some new filings in the federal case that jump back and they blast Universal, but we need to stay tuned to both. And throughout this entire thing, throughout this entire exercise between Disney and their lawsuits and the district, and also DeSantis and the federal suit, right? In these two different suits, the state and the federal suit, if you don't pay attention to one, you're really ignoring what's going to happen in the other, because the federal lawsuit started with all the claims. It started with everything packed in the federal suit by Disney. But as they realized that it's likely to fail, they moved everything over to the state case. But we still need to pay attention because they re-alleged everything in the federal case in the state case. So if Disney is defeated in one of them, that is definitely going to impact the other. But we'll get right into this with the state case. So let me show you guys this here real quick. Okay, so here is, of course, the Orange County website. This is the Orange County case for the Central Florida Tourism Oversight District versus Walt Disney Parks and Resorts. You guys should be familiar with this now and my case updates on this topic. But as you see here, there's an order setting hearing. This is a brand new filing on the 3rd, setting a hearing. Now, this is setting a hearing on the defendant's motion to continue summary judgment hearing for 75 days. So I've talked about this. Disney's strategy is delay, right? So Disney's strategy is to delay this as much as they possibly can. So you see here, here's the motion. It was filed on the 3rd. This is filed by the court itself by Judge Margaret Schreiber on the 3rd in Orlando, Florida, in her chambers. And she's setting the hearing for November 8th at 3:30 p.m. So we got to stay tuned for that. The hearing will be remotely held by a WebEx. So there's WebEx. Did they attach the link here? Oh, they really did. Oh, they absolutely did. Yeah. So I think your boy may see what we can do with this. Let's just put it that way. But definitely going to be paying attention to this one and the arguments in this one. We'll see what we can do. Maybe we can pop in on that bad boy. Since it's out there, since the info is out there, right? Yeah, I know it's during the shareholder meeting, which is classic. Like you're literally having a hearing during the shareholder meeting, which is great. Crash the WebEx. Yeah. No, I'm not, by the way, I'm not encouraging any bad behavior or doing anything untoward. Just a matter of knowing whether I could get the access to listen in or to not listen in. If I can listen in, that might be worth it. You know, might have to tune in late to the earnings call on that one. But what is going on here is in the state case, they are trying to push back the timeline. So what Disney wants to do is they want to delay the case. They want to delay it for longer because they are waiting for, in my opinion, they think this reflects on Ron DeSantis, despite the fact that the state case doesn't even have Ron DeSantis as a party. So Ron DeSantis is not a party to the state case at all whatsoever. Therefore, but they still think that these cases can reflect on Ron DeSantis. So I think they're trying to delay it so that the political consequences can follow through. So maybe DeSantis won't be governor anymore, or maybe they can push it out really long so they can change the narrative. But their strategy has been to delay. They've also thrown very burdensome, very voluminous, very large discovery requests at the state, asking them for a ridiculous amount of files, things that would take months to collect. I mean, even just trying to collect them, and they probably would not be able to collect all the information. that they're requested to collect. So you see that here. So we got to look forward to this. This is coming up this week. So stay tuned. We'll be giving an update on this as this goes down. As this motion goes down, we're going to see what the ruling is. We're going to see what the hearing is. Hopefully we can get the reasoning and follow through with that. Bass says, a member for 10 months says, hi. Well, hello, Bass. How are you doing? How are you doing today? How are you doing today? Good to see you. Good to see you. And members, send those member chats through. They're like a super chat. You guys get much love from them, you know, and they're always appreciated whenever I see my members out there. All right. So we got that from the state case. We see that there is a hearing going down there. So now we got to look at the federal case. Now, the federal case is where we're going to get into some of this misinformation. But one thing that isn't misinformation is this live dropping the 10 legal mindset memberships. Thank you, Is This Live. Guys, if you're not already a member, click on that membership gift when you see it in the chat. Accept gift memberships. Make sure you accept it and turn yourself green, right? You've already got Sherry saying thank you. There you go. Boom, we've got it here. So thank you so much, Is It Live, for donating 10 legal mindset memberships and helping turn it into a sea of based legal mindset members. Blind Lawyer explains, says, Florida is becoming more MAGA is not good for Disney. Yeah, Florida just generally has become very much a red state. And it's pretty much on lock right now for red team, which is not good for Disney insofar as they want to take highly political positions, right? So they want to take very, very politicized positions. That's not good because, well, Floridians are the ones who primarily come to Walt Disney World. Yes, Walt Disney World has a lot of tourists, but Floridians are the prime market. They're one of the prime core groups that supports Walt Disney World, not just as employees, but also as visitors. So to undermine Floridians and the will of Floridians and tell Floridians, yeah, we don't care about you, it's not a great move. It's not smart on their part. It's not smart. And Leprechaun Gold dropped a $10 super sticker. Thank you so much for the Shiba with a heart super sticker. Appreciate that, Leprechaun Gold. All right. So over here, we have the federal timeline. So in the federal courts, we had a timeline that actually has already passed, but we have another one that's coming up. So, okay, here we have a motion. This is a motion that was granted on the 16th of October, but we see there's some relevant deadlines. Now, this is the federal case, which is Walt Disney versus DeSantis and the other defendants, right? And the CFTOD defendants and the other administrators of the state. So the parties have a deadline for the plaintiff to respond to the motion to dismiss of October 30th. So that is passed. So the plaintiff can no longer respond. So that's Disney. They can no longer respond to that motion to dismiss. The deadline for the defendants to file their replies is November 9th. So that deadline is coming up this week. So right after the earnings call. So they can file, this is great. They can file, Ron DeSantis in Florida can file a response right before the earnings call. How epic is that? So they can drop a giant bomb in this case right before that. They can make a statement. They can say something right before the earnings call, which people will be in the news cycle. It'll be out there for people to call about. So they have the opportunity here, based on this federal filing timeline, to drop a bombshell, and then Iger's going to have to deal with that turd live on camera. I think that's pretty glorious. Now, why this matters is because they are blaming, and we'll see right now, they are blaming in the media and through their media surrogates, they have been blaming Disney and Ron DeSantis for Epic Universe. So right over here, you have this article talking about Ron DeSantis does Disney World dirty in a new woke war move. This is in the street, right? complete mischaracterization. Once again, this article, like many, very much Disney shill, very much Disney oriented, very much Disney perspective, and certainly not consulting with anyone who has any experience with special districts or knows what they're talking about in this area. So now they're talking about, this article talks about the fight over Reedy Creek, a special district that gave Walt Disney control over the land in which Disney sits. Actually, it didn't give Walt Disney control. It gave the landowner, which happened to be Walt Disney. So it did not necessarily give Disney directly. That is a misnomer. And a lot of people have been saying this, and a lot of articles say this, but this is not correct precisely, right? And I think it's an important distinction because it gives the landowner is agnostic. It did not give this right to Disney. Why is that material? Why is it this statement, this very subtle statement of giving Disney, why is that important? Because Disney wants to frame this as taking away a benefit given to Disney. Well, it wasn't given to Disney. It was given to the landowners in general. And by the way, the landowners include a certain percent, 13%, that are non-Disney, that are non-Disney entities that may have interests adverse to Disney or opposed to Disney. Now, they are a minority interest, but they still have rights. They still have consideration. And the government body has to consider other entities, not just Disney, because they are within the boundaries of Disney. So it cannot consider that. And above and beyond that, the entity, Reedy Creek, is a public entity. It is a government. There is a strong and clear message in Florida law that says public entities cannot exist for private gain, for private pecuniary gain. So the public entity has to do public stuff. It has to build roads, build stormwater ponds, build maybe an electric grid, do sanitation, pick up trash, deal with your shit. Literally, that's what a public government does. A private corporation is dealing with stuff like running a theme park. So those things should be clearly separated. The problem is, for 80 years now, Disney blurred those lines. They blurred the lines between public and private, which is why they're under criminal investigation by the state of Florida, by the Inspector General of the state of Florida, because they have been for 70, 80 years now, blurring these lines between public and private. So this framing is already not good, right? So here goes. This article continues saying, DeSantis used a heavily Republican legislature to end Disney's control of Reedy Creek and replace its members with handpicked cronies. Stop there real quick. Is not the legislature democratically elected? If this was California, if this was New York, you would say, oh, it's the will of the people, right? It's the people rising up, the power to the people, right? But because this is Florida, because it's Florida and not New York or California, you're saying, oh, this is not the will of the people. The legislature is elected. In fact, you could say they're probably more representative than the federal government, certainly. I mean, local government is the most representative you're going to get, but state government is more representative than federal government. So does that not represent the will of the people? The people elected the legislature, the people elected DeSantis. That was their choice of the people of Florida. So what are you asking us to do, article, Disney shills? You're asking us to take a corporation over the will of the elected representatives? That's what you're saying right now? Is that we should side with Disney over elected representatives? I don't think so. I really don't think so. Real quick here, Death Angel Shadow says, too bad Orange and Osceola County trend blue. That is true. They do trend blue, but the surrounding counties do not, right? And also there's other major areas that do not. And also it's a matter of the percentages, right? So even in Florida, even in Orange and Osceola County, there still is a large percentage of red, even if blue is tend to take it recently, particularly after some of the demographic shifts in Osceola County. It used to be a red county, now it's a blue county. And Orange County, very liberal hub. You know, I left Orange County. I literally left Orlando. When outside of my window, I lived by Lake Eola. They had a road, and some of you Orlando people, you'll know what I'm talking about. Okay, you Orlando people. They have a road where they painted on the road Black Lives Matter. That's BLM, and not this BLM, not the base legal mindset. They spelled it out, Black Lives Matter. And as soon as I saw that, and every time there was like a skid mark or somebody accidentally spilled something on it, or there was even a little tiny, any sort of touch to that Black Lives Matter painting on the road, they would immediately repaint it. Meanwhile, literally one street over from that, there are streets with potholes, right? There are giant potholes, the size of like a small, the size of a dog, or the size of like a very large animal, right? There's giant potholes. They won't fix those, but they will keep painting the Black Lives Matter sign, the Black Lives Matter lettering, every single time it has a slight mistake. That told me the priorities in Orlando are completely screwed up. They're completely effed, and it's time for me to get the F out, right? So, I mean, that was my time to get out of Orlando, and I think I timed it very right on that one. Cody Mitchell, new member, thank you so much for joining up and becoming a member of the RPG, the Replay Gang. Appreciate you. You have access to the emojis. You have access to the members-only streams. So use those, abuse those, and appreciate you, Cody. Once again, another Chad in the BLM. Miss in O-Town says, worked at O-Town Parks for many years, 93 through 95. Hey, salute to you. Those were amazing years. Those were years where I was growing up. I went to the parks as a kid. Those are my fond memories. My fond memories of Splash Mountain back when it was the Briars, right? My fond memory of Universal. I was at the opening. My middle school went to the opening of Islands of Adventure when it first opened to everybody. So I remember that. It was like a test, and they let like school kids go. They let a bunch of middle schoolers kind of go in there and go into the soft opening. It was amazing. I remember going to Halloween Horror Nights growing up. I remember going to Night of Joy with my youth group, right? When I was growing up, I did all those things. I love the theme parks. The theme parks were part of me. Even also the off-brand theme parks like Fun Spot, right? Or what was it? Old Town in Kissimmee. You guys remember that one? And we go to Old Town over there in Kissimmee. I've been to a lot of those theme parks. Orlando and the theme parks have a fond place in my memory, which is why I do this. I don't do this because I hate them and I want them to all fail. No, I want them to be great. I want to make theme parks great again. Okay. I want to do that. But Disney clearly doesn't agree with that plan, and they clearly want to self-destruct in any possible instance, right? That's what they want to do. So I appreciate that from somebody who appreciates and knows O-Town. Mark of Reality for 5 says, if I bought some Disney controlling stock, what would it take to get you to ask Iger a question for me on Wednesday? I don't mess with business law, and you do. I mean, if you have access, I will call in. I will call in from Tokyo. And I will ask a very pertinent question, a very pertinent point. I will do it. I'll do it. Now, it doesn't mean you get through. They'll probably screen you out, right? And I'd have to give a very interesting name. It'd have to be like, my name is Valiant Renegade. No, I'd have to come up with, my name is Mike, aka Mexican Iron Man, calling in here real quick. I'd have to give some sort of thing. And also have to have a question that would pass muster, right? And then I'd have to flip the script, right? So Lele for 10, appreciate you. Thank you so much, Lele, for your gifts here. Lele, an OG, a great supporter of the channel. Thank you so much for enabling other folks to join, get access to the emojis, get access to the members only chat. Guys, make sure you're accepting those from Lele. She is amazing. She is great. Always sending. She's got sent me some really delicious pictures in my Discord of food she's been making, which has been great. I will eat anything. I'm over here in Asia. People ask me, when I'm here in Japan, they're like, oh, have you tried natto? And I've tried natto. It's not my favorite, but I'll try it. I will try to eat anything. I'm a big fan of tamago gohan. I love ramen, sushi. I'll eat whatever, right? Liver, right? I was at a yakitori place yesterday, and they're like, do you eat liver? I'm like, bring it on. I'm down for the clown. And last but not least, Leprechaun Gold with 4 super sticker, $4 super sticker with a Shiba, another cute Shiba. So appreciate the Shibas, appreciate the Shiba bucks over there as well. And of course, we are live. I see people in the chat asking the question. Real quick, we got one from Ben SC on Locals who sent a $1 tip, which said, ended Disney's control of Reedy Creek. So you admit that Disney was controlling Reedy Creek. Yes, they are contradicting themselves here in this. So let's continue. Let's continue with this message. So he says the move was not to punish Disney for former executive Bob Chapek public speaking about against his so-called, this is not the name. I refuse to say the name. The Parental Rights and Education Act. That's the name. Or you can call it the Anti-Grooming Bill. You get to choose, because that is equally correct with this, not the name of the legislation, right? The Parental Rights and Education Act. Because everything else is literally inaccurate. So this tells you, by the way, when you see this, like, you should just say, oh, they are confirming their heavy political bias. So by putting, every time you see this, every time you see any single periodical, any single newsletter, put that in there, you know that they are leftist, because this is heavy leftist, progressive, crazy language that is not true, that we've proven is empirically and categorically not true. It's not true for reality. It's not true for the legislation. So yes, this is a extremely shill piece. You see it here, right? And they can't hide their bias. They have to wear their bias on their sleeve. So we see you, Street. We see you. We see you. And did they put the author up on the top? We see you, Daniel Klein, right? Daniel clearly is showing his colors. So this is from Ron DeSantis. All we want to do is treat everybody the same and move forward. I'm totally fine with that, but I'm not fine giving extraordinary privilege, to one company at the exclusion of everybody else. So Disney had privileges that nobody else had. No other special district had those privileges. And by the way, we're going to talk about Universal's new district. That district has very limited powers. It has the very limited powers of a community development district under 190, under Chapter 190. All of the districts, most of the districts I formed, like 99%, were community development districts. Very limited powers. Very limited. Okay? So these powers are absolutely small. RCID's power was unlimited. They could build a nuclear plant. They were immune to taxation. They were immune from regulation. Nobody could tell them what to do. They were the only ones that had that set up. The only ones in the entire state of Florida. I read their entire charter. Nobody come close. So when they say here, the problem is, of course, Disney is not unique in having a special district. This is a retard level take. This is absolutely stupid. It is wrong. It is absolute bullshit. It's not that they had a special district, you idiots, Daniel. It is about the fact that the powers of the special district were insane. It's like if there was an elected official and instead of just being a congressman, he's a super congressman with the powers of the president. Right? You'd say, oh, well, it's not fair that this one congressman is a super congressman. We have to make everybody have the same powers because that's what's supposed to be. It's what's supposed to happen. So talking about Florida having 100 of them, including districts controlled by Daytona Speedway and the villages, most of the villages, community development districts have very limited powers. In fact, there was a lawsuit over that, which the villages lost. Right? Take notes, dumb motherfuckers. Sorry, but I get worked up over this because these people are straight up lying, right? And a lot of the village districts are controlled by residents. They're resident controlled. The villages has many different CDDs. Most of them are controlled by residents. So what the hell are you talking about? You don't know what you're talking about. You're lying, right? So saying now a new special district is fully controlled by the rival. Comcast Universal Studios has been created. No. The district isn't called Universal Studios. It's called the Shingle Creek Transit Authority District, right? So, and I have that just so you guys see this real quick because I want to make sure that you guys, see what I'm talking about here. and kind of get my drift. This is the ordinance establishing the Shingle Creek Transit and Utility Community Development District. So the CDD, right? So the stud, as we're calling it, the stud district, right? So the Shingle Transit Utility District, right? Stud. We're just going to call this district stud. I know that's not exactly what it is. Don't should be like SCTUCDD. Nah, we're calling it stud. I'm sorry. That's the easier one. So stud over here is a CDD organized under Chapter 190. This is something I would have done. In fact, if I was still working in Orlando, I probably would have been the one to file this and create this universal district. So there you go. Just that's how in I would have been on this. But in this particular case, Universal was filing this to create a facility, a transit facility, right? Very, very limited, very, very normal. And this was granted not by Ron DeSantis, right, which is a big accusation, but by Jerry Demings, the Orange County mayor. It is Orange County, Florida, that granted this. This district was created by the county. It was not created by the state. It was not created by DeSantis. So trying to, in this article where we have Daniel Klein saying Ron DeSantis does Disney dirty. Ron DeSantis didn't create the district, you idiot. Orange County created the district. How is Ron DeSantis doing anything? But they always want to blame it on Ron DeSantis. They always want to make it a DeSantis thing. And look, I get it. I get that some people don't like DeSantis. And look, I'm not a DeSantis stand for political office or saying vote for him for president or anything else. All I'm saying is blame people where blame is due, but Disney is trying to defer and deflect all its responsibility. Disney wants to take zero responsibility and deflect everything on DeSantis, because the truth is Universal is outplaying Disney here. Universal is playing 4D chess. They are making friends, not enemies in the government. They are making allies. This is something Disney is not doing. They are fucking up on this. Therefore, the real headline should be Universal outplays Disney, right? So now it's saying in this here, Disney has cited the move in a new court document in its case trying to prove that Florida's governor has singled out the company for retaliation. So they're saying Universal Studios gets a perk that Disney lost. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. It's not a perk. A government is not a perk. It's an entity. It is a separate entity, you idiots. It is not a perk of a private company. Florida law is very clear about this. It is an entirely separate entity, like a separate corporation, okay? So it's like saying if a new corporation was created to govern hotels that are near Disney, and they collaborate with Disney, that means, oh, well, Disney gets a perk. No, it's a separate company, right? If you have a separate entity that's operating separately, yeah, that's not a perk for the business. Okay? This analysis is an insane analysis. It's wrong, and it's clearly a 100% misunderstanding of Florida law. So DeSantis did not create the special tax jurisdiction that covers the Epic Universal set. So, okay, they acknowledge that finally, right? So they go and they state the missed facts, but then they go and make that little statement just so they don't get in trouble. Oh, okay, all right. But he did not object to it or have anything to say about the Shingle Creek District. Why would he? It's not in his jurisdiction. The governor has no say over this. He can't object to this. It's wholly within Orange County. The statutes, if you read them, which we know Disney allies don't know the law or read it, if they read the statutes, they would know it is entirely within Orange County. Therefore, Orange County and solely Orange County has the authority to create this district. So fuck off. Getting me worked up here. Examoon says, does Gatorland Swamp count as a special district, or does the Orlando's government just get to follow out of my swamp rules? No, there's no special district for Gatorland. There could be, but there isn't, right? But that is very much swampy land out there by Gatorland. I do love Gatorland though. The zip line, I've done the zip line over the Gators and the Gator zip line. It's really cool. It's really cool. I haven't done the swamp ride, but I would do that there. Miss O-Town says, currently employed at a small joint in Bristol, Connecticut. I've seen a lot. I've stayed very quiet. So true about O-Town. I miss it daily. Great times. Hey, man, enjoy the good times. Guys, this channel is not all about black pills. If you guys know me, whether it's me covering anime and weeping out on that, or whether it's me covering good news and other things and positivity, positive improvements, this is about white pills. And I think, honestly, hanging on to those memories and knowing we can build stuff that's great. We can build stuff that's good. We can build stuff for children for the future, right? That will make a bright future, that will make a fun future, that will make a wholesome future for the next generation to grow up in a theme park that doesn't want to preach politics to you, that just wants to entertain you, just wants you to have fun. That's possible. We know it because we experienced it, because I experienced it. Okay. So because of that, we know it's possible. We know it's that vision, Walt's vision is possible, even if Disney doesn't want to execute it. Let me say that one more time. First of all, more Walt, less Disney, right? Walt's vision can stay alive even without the Walt Disney Company. Okay. Because I truly believe that Walt's real vision, his heart of hearts, was to create a great experience for families, for children, for the future, and for America. And that's possible even without the Disney Corporation. Walt can live on without Disney. And Disney has become something that is not Walt. It is certainly not Walt. He would be ashamed of what it's become today. Xalive says for 5, and remember, people, Stud indemnifies Orange County against lawsuits and losses as a result of Stud's actions. Plus, I want to say Stud. So yes, Stud, the district, goes above and beyond what Disney is doing to indemnify the county. That means to promise them, if anything goes wrong, we are covering you from all lawsuits and liabilities. So Disney doesn't do that. Disney doesn't do that for Orange County or Osceola County. Disney doesn't give anything to them. RCID didn't do that. This is a misrepresentation. This article is a misrepresentation of the relationship of these special districts to the counties. It does not understand them at all whatsoever. Wait, Blind Lawyer expands for $1.99 says, wait, are you saying that Disney is a female Karen? Yes. Yes, indeed. Indeed is a female Karen. Very much Karening with Disney. Very, very much. And Big Blue Horses says, my worry is this judge is at worst an activist for Disney or lazy. The law doesn't matter. If it's a slam dunk, why not end it now? Why drag it out? Because they want to give it due process and they want to make sure also that it cannot be appealed. So they don't want this to be dragged out. The judge is trying to do this as fairly as possible to make sure it's not appealed. Judges are by nature conservative, and I don't mean that in terms of political conservatism. I mean that they're like cautious, right? They're risk adverse. And the biggest thing is judges do not want to be appealed. So they are doing everything possible to make sure that there's not grounds for an appeal, that appeal isn't set up, and that's not something we're going to see in this case. So I think that's why they're not ending it right now, and why they've gone as far as they've gone so far. They've been trying to do this right, trying to do this by the books. Adverse, yes, risk adverse. Did I say that wrong? Ron says I said it wrong, but so I believe it. But I love you, Ronnie. Appreciate you. Risk adverse. Averse. You know, it's my Miami accent. It's coming out. I don't know. Miami accent. Miami accent is Spanglish, right? That's Miami accent. Oh, no. I normally don't show non-super chats. Was too good. Anab says, perverse if it's Disney. Yes, perverse. It would put it in a dress and put it in the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique if it's Disney, right? Okay, so back to this article here. Walt Disney uses point in a new court filing to show the governor has singled out the company for punishment. So real quick, I want to show the actual court document. So the actual court document has a little bit more detail than the article. Okay, so here's the actual court document. This is the motion in opposition to Ron DeSantis' motion to dismiss. So this is the federal case. This is a Disney filing. This is a Disney motion, right, that they file with the court. So let me read this to you. In repeated public comments, the governor declared that laws do not injure Disney because they simply make the company subject to the same regulatory structure applicable to all Florida businesses, thereby creating a level playing field. Yes, the same type of rules apply. They've actually taken away powers of the Reedy Creek Improvement District. So the CFTOD, the new district, has less powers than RCID. It still has a lot of powers, but it has less powers. So in that way, because its powers have been reduced from godlike to just really, really strong, right? So they've gone from here to here. They're still above where everybody else is. So if everybody else is here, Disney's here, they used to be here. They're in the middle. They're a little bit, they're down now, right? They're reduced. Are they fully reduced? No, right? I think DeSantis took it easy on Disney by leaving a lot of powers with the district. The CFTOD still has lots of powers, more than a normal CDD, more than a normal special district. They have a lot of powers, but that's a favor to Disney. Disney wants that. If they didn't have that, they would be screwed. They would have to go through Orange and Osceola County in a public process to get anything approved. They don't want that. They don't want to go through Orange and Osceola County. They want to go through their own district. Every other district, when they do zoning, planning, anything like that, they have to go through the county. Well, they get to go through their own district. They get to go to the CFTOD, formerly RCID. That's a huge benefit. It's a massive benefit. But Disney is looking that gift horse in the mouth, checking its teeth, saying, this doesn't look like a good enough gift horse. Send her back to old Ronnie D. The contention, so this is what Disney says, right? So Disney says this contention is an outright falsehood. In fact, a special district was established just as much to regulate the land concerning Universal's new Epic Universe Park in Orange County, with its inaugural board comprising only Universal employees. Number one, it was created by Orange County, you idiots, not Ron DeSantis. It's totally irrelevant. It wasn't appointed by the governor. So what are you saying? You're not entitled to have your employees sit on a board. They did sit on the board for 60 years. Most other boards have a representative selection of members based on acreage. So I represented Bonnet Creek, and I made that very clear. People know I represented Bonnet Creek. Bonnet Creek has representatives from every single hotel and interest. There's a representative from the JW, right? There's a representative from the Westin, from the Marriott, or from all of the properties, Waldorf, right? All of them, the developer, they have a seat on the board. They have a seat on the board. And because they share acreage, right? Some of them have, 1 acre, 2 acre, whatever. They have different acreage. Because of that, they all have different seats. Disney had 100% of the seats on the board. Now they controlled 87%. But they should have given another interest a seat on the board. That would have been something they should have done to have representation on that board. Of course, they didn't do that, right? Disney never did that. But the issue wasn't that they just were all represented by Disney. The issue was that Disney was controlling it in a way that was abusing and potentially misappropriating, which is what they're being criminally investigated for, that district. They're misappropriating funds, potentially misappropriating resources like the police officers. Lots of reasons to strip them of those powers. So this argument here, and they continue with another crappy argument. Further, most businesses and other property owners in Florida are regulated by elected, politically accountable municipal bodies. So is Disney. Disney is still regulated by Orange and Osceola County. They're not out from that. They don't understand. This shows that the Disney lawyers know nothing about special districts, zero. Just because you are in a special district does not mean you are exempt from regulation of the state or the county or the city. A special district is an extra layer, just like an HOA. They're like an HOA that happens to be a government, okay? Just because you live in an HOA doesn't mean you're immune from the rules of the city. So if your city has a rule that says no noise after 10 p.m., you can't say, well, that's not an HOA rule, so I can just go outside and have a huge rave in my backyard at midnight. No. Few Florida businesses are subject, as Izzy is now, to the governance of a special district with a governor-controlled board that closely regulates the use of private property with no accountability to local property and taxpayers. Actually, there are several districts that are appointed by the governor. So that is incorrect. That is a lie. This is a lie. So they will say few. So actually, let me pedal back a little bit. It's a partly true. It's misleading, right? So few is accurate. There aren't millions, right? But there aren't millions of special districts. There's 2,000. Now it's a lot, but of those 2,000, might have a dozen, 2 dozen that are appointed by the governor, but they do exist. They do exist. They're not the only one. That's where the misrepresentation is here. It's not an outright lie because they said few, so I'll give them that. Look, I'm going to call balls and strikes. They said few, okay? But it's misleading. In any event, what matters with respect to the pending motion to dismiss is that challenged laws indisputably eliminate Disney's rights and impose new burdens. No, they don't. Disney's rights are not there at all. Disney has no rights that are being impeded on. Disney has 0 rights that are being impeded on. Let's see here. Let's see. Okay. All right. $20 from Leprechaun Gold. Appreciate that super sticker. Right. Thank you so much, Leprechaun Gold, for that $20 super sticker. That Sheba. Appreciate you over there in the chat. Also, over here, we've got BLASTS with $4.99. Why don't they just ask Ron DeSantis out? They're clearly obsessed. Yes, it's the AOC treatment, right? They're so obsessed with him, they might as well date him. The AOC treatment. I love it. Love it. They're clearly deranged on this one. They clearly should have looked into the actual law of special districts or consulted with lawyers that know it. They could have made a better argument here. They could have made an argument based on Florida law, Florida statutes. I even come up with some steelman arguments in favor of Disney. You can come up with them, but they decided not to go that route. They decided to go where they're picking on us. That victim mindset, right? The victim mindset that the leftists always want to go to is where Disney wanted to go. But they're not winning in this one, and they're not gaining a lot of favor. Let me go back to this article here real quick because I want to finish this one out. Okay, so they say that Disney, the largest employer, is threatened to cut some of the $17 billion it planned to spend on Florida over the next decade. They canceled a $1 billion project, which would have brought 2,000 jobs to Florida. This is also a lie. I talked about this. We talked about the Florida campus in Lake Nona. Those employees that were scheduled to go to Lake Nona actually refused to go because they didn't want to move from California to Florida because they would lose their Californian benefits. They did not want to do that. They did not want to move to Florida. They thought it was too crazy, too based for them. So those employees said no. They proceeded, most of them, to be cut and fired. And in addition, by the way, Disney was not going to spend $1 billion. This is a lie. I exposed this. The taxpayers of Florida were paying over $500 million. They're paying $600 million. So actually, Disney was only paying 40%. The taxpayers of Florida were going to pay 60% of that project. Okay? So when I looked at this, I looked at the numbers, I said, it's good that they're not moving. Florida is making money by them not moving there because they are not going to get that subsidy from the state of Florida, amongst other things or other subsidies, tax breaks they were going to get. So yeah, it's a good thing. Florida makes money. That's a good thing. But these people have not been following this like I have on this channel. I know how all these things interplay. I worked in Florida development. I worked in Central Florida. These guys are lying. They're bamboozling you about how this development would go and how it would benefit Florida. And these jobs they talk about, they're still going to be spending money. They're not pulling out of Walt Disney World. They're not putting Walt Disney World on wheels. They've actually done now a bad job. They've done some crappy stuff, but look at Splash Mountain. They just rethemed it. Are they about to put that up on, a trailer and haul that off to another state, right? Go give that to Nikki Haley in South Carolina so she can go, invade another country, whatever. No, of course not. They're not going to pop that up and ship it off. No, of course they're not going to send Disney World elsewhere. Disney is cost cutting to be able to buy Hulu, to be able to afford what it's dealing with in terms of expenses, right? They are cost cutting. That is true. But at the same time, they weren't planning to do a lot in the US. Disney has announced, they've made it official that they are spending their money in Asia. They're spending their money particularly in China. Think about that. Disney is spending the majority of their money on a park which they don't even fully own and control, which the CCP has the ultimate control over. They only lease that property, and at any moment, the CCP can go like this and take that property from them. They have zero property rights to that property in Shanghai. But they've decided to put all their money in China. Think about that for a second. Just think about that. Yeah, it fits with Disney, right? The politics fits, right? And by the way, I don't know if you guys saw Gavin Newsom, good friend of Iger, good friend of Disney. He was over there talking to his boss, Xi, over there in China a week or two ago. Not a coincidence. Not a coincidence at all. Is this live? By the way, gifted 10 Legal Mindset memberships. Thank you so much for that. Is that live? Keeping us membered up here. We've now got 31 new members this stream. Shout out to you guys. It's like nearing a record here on memberships. I think the record was like 50 memberships was like the record in a day. So I do appreciate that. Really, thank you so much. Is this live? You've been a G here for this channel. And thank you guys for supporting me. Look, the memberships matter, but what also matters is you guys smashing that like button. Right now, we're at 353 watchers and only 227 likes. So let's get it up to 250. Let's get a solid 250 for your boy Legal Mindset. I'm just asking for 250. No more than 250. No more than 250. Victim mindset, Legal Mindset's arch nemesis. That's a good one, Elder Gusto. That's a good one. Yes. Also, let me give real quick. We've got one over here, a Rumble rant on Rumble. So I want to make sure I show that. From Cledge Fenrir for 5 says, even if Disney was going to pay full price for these projects, where was Disney going to get the money for those projects? They weren't. They had no money. They have no money. So Disney does not have money for expansion projects, for really doing much of anything. They don't have a lot of money to do those expansions. In fact, Epcot was going to get way more. They were going to get Spaceship Earth updated, but they said, nope, we don't have the money to just update Spaceship Earth. So thank the Phoenicians. It's going to stay old school, right? All those promises that they gave, all those concept arts, they went nowhere. Concept arts, these blue sky, Disney calls them blue sky, they're just that, sky. None of it is actual reality. Ronnie C., good to see you. Thanks for stopping by, Ronnie. Have a wonderful evening. All right, so here you go saying Iger speaks out against Disney. So Iger has been adamant that DeSantis has targeted his company for speaking out. Of course Iger says that, right? So in the earnings call, right? So this is what we have to look forward to because he's been talking about this on earnings calls. So now we have to look forward to this on the next earnings call, okay? So last earnings call, he said, this is not about special privileges or leveling the playing field or Disney in any way using its leverage against the state of Florida. But since there's been a lot said about special districts and the arrangement we have, I want to set the record straight. there are 2,000 special districts in Florida. Okay, so the 2,000 part, that's true. But here comes the lie. Most are to foster investor development. We were one of them. False. They are not to foster investor development. That is false. That is a lie. The point is to have public infrastructure taken care of by a public entity, to have public stuff dealt with publicly, private stuff dealt with privately, and have eventually elected representatives, residents, as Disney was supposed to have. They were supposed to have elected residents, people who lived there, people who were in Disney. They were supposed to build the city. I know they were supposed to be employees, but they would still be residents of Disney, residents of Reedy Creek. So they are not necessarily to foster development, but actually to allow infrastructure to be properly accounted for, right? So things that are public are dealt with publicly, and therefore encourage, right, those areas to be built out and encourage folks to continue to expand Florida. Right? If the goal is level playing field or uniform application of law or governmental oversight of special districts needs to occur and be applied to all special districts, you idiot! Literally, the name of the law regulating special districts is called the Uniform Law of Special Districts, the Uniform Act. We literally call it, in the special district world, we call it the Uniform Act. All of the other districts were subject to the Uniform Act except for Disney. But guess what? Now that it's been reformed, Disney has fallen under the provisions of the Uniform Act. So actually, Ron DeSantis did equal the law. He did cause the Reedy Creek District to fall clearly under the Uniform Act. So that is a lie, Iger. You clearly don't know what you're talking about. You don't know special districts and you don't know the law. So Daniel Klein, this weirdo here, look at this guy too. I mean, guys, let's look at this guy who wrote this article. Let me just give you guys a little window into the type of person. Look at the guy who wrote this article. This is Daniel Klein here. Okay. Can we have a moment for Daniel? Can we have a moment for Daniel right now? I mean, RIP. RIP. I mean, this guy's brain cells are clearly tainted by pixie dust. Clearly tainted by pixie dust. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Oh, God. Oh, God. And this guy was making stock picks? There were people that were paying attention to this guy's stock picks? Are you kidding me? Oh, man. Oh, Daniel. Missing a chromosome or two. I feel really bad for you. F's in the chat for Daniel. F's in the chat for Daniel. Touched by the tism. Keep that guy away from a school. Oh, man. Yeah, imagine the smell. Oh, it must be rancid. It must be absolutely freaking rancid. Absolutely disgusting. All right, F's in the chat. F's are dropping in the chat. How do you say incel? In Japanese, it's called hikikomori, right? You know, or NEET, not in education or educate. Well, it's not education, employment, or training, right? NEET, hikikomori, incel, bad. It's bad stuff. Yeah, weak-minded and also just the weak-willed, right? The weak-willed. So that's where we're at with this. Chris Chan in 15 years. Oh, no. Christopher Weston Chandler, no. Oh, wait. Am I misgendering Chris Chan now? Oh, no. I would never do that. I would never misgender Chris Chan. Chris Chan is a proud princess. All right. So a little bit more Disney news. One thing I want to cover really quick. And this is from The Guardian. Okay, so this is not necessarily related, but I want to hit this real quick. People are losing their shit over the Snow White remake. And the reason why I think this is relevant is because this is getting to the point with Snow White that I think there can be a lawsuit from the investors in Snow White. Because remember, each of these things is an independent film, which they're collecting money from. There probably are investors here. So once again, shareholders, investors, like we have with the TSG suit, they're going to look at the handling of this and say, what the hell are you doing with our money? Right? So already it's been revamped to this Brazers, this Brazers version here. We've seen that edit. We're adding in the crappy CG dwarves, right? The CG dwarves that look like they were worse than AI generated. It's getting to the point where it's bad, but it's depressing for Disney. It's not depressing for anybody else but Disney. Real quick here, Lele says, exceptional stream commenting on Cenk and Kamala and Soros. Clear and articulating logical arguments. Keep up the good work being a voice for freedom. Absolutely. And of course, while I've been covering Disney because I want to make sure I get all the latest Disney updates, I will continue to cover the most important things that cross my desk, whether it is stuff like talking about freedom, stuff about talking about our nation, like what happens in these cases. I will be here covering all of that for you guys on the Legal Mindset. Some folks have wanted me to talk about some firearms issues, some Second Amendment issues. Those will be coming up as well in a future broadcast. So stay tuned for that. So thank you so much, Lele. Appreciate that. But right now, the issue here is that we're pushing this now to 2025. We're going into serious reshoots. And on top of that, they've already spent the money, right? So they've already spent the money on this film. They're already in the hole. But now they're going to go back and they're going to spend more money to reshoot it, to remake it. Is this a good use of the shareholders' money? Is this a good use of the financiers' money, of the investors' money? No. I think we have a possible suit here, and not just for failure to hire dwarves, right? Because I think, by the way, I think there's some active discrimination against dwarves going on right now. Instead of hiring dwarf actors, they've decided to go with the little people, to go with the CGI little people. Now, what I think these people in The Guardian is very mad about is they are mad about the Ben Shapiro version. So you can see here where they talk about the conservative version. So right here, they see there's been they say, oh, well, the comments of Rachel Zegler were fairly innocuous. So remember, these comments we're talking about, the comments of the original film being extremely dated when it comes to the ideas of women being in roles of power and what a woman is fit for, and saying that the prince is a love story, the prince of the love story is a guy who literally stalks her. So The Guardian says, oh, that's innocuous. And you guys are ridiculous. You guys are horrible for flipping out about it, for posting it. And the Daily Wire is crazy for making an anti-woke rival movie. No. In fact, it's quite smart. I think it's quite clever. So they are flipping out to protect Disney. You see The Guardian coming out to shield for Disney. So you're kind of seeing, what I'm loving to see here is the shills coming out of the woodwork and exposing themselves, like Daniel Klein of The Street, exposing himself as a complete political leftist who is in the tank for Disney. Same thing with The Guardian. They're exposing themselves as in the tank for Disney and their agenda, and opposed to any other piece of work. If the Disney, if an alternative to Disney wants to come up, shouldn't you support that? Isn't the capitalist thing to do to support alternatives? Isn't that a good thing? But they don't want that. They don't want competition. They want Disney to rule it all. They want Disney to keep the one ring. And like Death Shadow says, it's not supposed to be anti-woke. It's supposed to be more true to the original story, the Grimm story, which is very true. Unit 49 for $2 says, Shapiro verse win. Yes. I will say, look, guys, I will say this. You are very right about this. Okay. Brett Cooper does look like Ben Shapiro. Okay. I'm not going to lie. I know a lot of you out there simp for Brett Cooper. I get it. You think she's cute and you're fine. You're entitled to think that, right? You know, and I think some of her outfits when she's on things, she'd be kind of cute, right? But of course she's engaged. So, you know that you're not going to get her, gentlemen. You know, so when you simp for her, you're not going to win her over with your comment in her comments or by, liking her video. She's not going to see it and fall in love with you because of your like on her video. So understand that. But that being said, she's had some decent videos, some decent take on the Passport Bros. But I think they will make more videos. I think they will make more movies because there's a huge market to make non-woke versions of these Disney movies. The Little Mermaid, make an original one. Make an original Little Mermaid that's like the actual story. Very true, Derna. Cute, pretty, and beautiful are all different things. Very true. Very true. All right. There's a couple here on locals that I want to make sure I get because I want to shout out to my locals, Chads and Stacy's. So on locals, I got a couple here. Got that $1. So $5 from Uncover Lamp says, when it comes to actual little people representation, Disney comes up a little short. Uncover Lamp, what the hell are you doing, bro? You a little short? Or seriously? Thanks, Uncovered Lamp. Appreciate the 5. A bot from Xander's Rant says, Joshua shows me machine you can get some bugs to eat. Have you been eating these? No, I am not. I've been not eating the bugs. We do not eat the bugs over here in Asia. We don't do it. It's not good. Don't eat it. Someone says Shogun looks amazing. Yeah, Shogun looks great. I'm definitely going to watch Shogun. I mean, especially being over in Asia. I mean, I'm in Tokyo right now. God, I got to watch Shogun. It's required. It's absolutely required. Okay, guys. So that's what I've got for today, guys. I am glad you guys joined me for this one. I will be traveling this week back to the base, to the home base. So I will be busy this week doing that, but there will be some premieres coming. So get excited for those while I am in transit. But once I'm back, we're also going to have at the end of this week, we're going to have a anniversary stream that is coming up at the end of this week. I'm going to be doing an anniversary stream. It is my 3-year channel anniversary. So I'm going to be doing that. I'm going to be trying to have a lot of guests on, everybody possible on this channel to just have a great time, enjoy 3 years of the legal mindset. Let me catch this $5 super chat from Business Live. So speaking of holding onto the One Ring, the question is, Iger, Sauron, or just sad simp Saruman? You know what? I like that. He is sad simp Saruman. He's definitely Saruman for sure. Can you please expand on the Gina Carano situation? Your previous report was awesome. Sure. Let me just say this, Wintrell. Gina Carano has the ability to sue for defamation if she can show that the bots that targeted her account, that hit her reputation, that called her anti-Semitic. Because remember, they called her anti-Semitic. If she's able to link those to Disney, she can sue for defamation for millions of dollars. It will be Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard level of publicity with Gina Carano going up against Disney for defamation for Twitter bots. It will be a huge trial. I will cover it cover to cover. I'm on that one. Before it's even started, I'm on that case. And they hurt her career. They absolutely hurt her career. And she's a woman. Aren't you supposed to be standing for women? They will absolutely, that lawsuit that she has clearly signaled she wants to file this lawsuit. I can't see any reason why she wouldn't file the lawsuit. I don't see any reason why she would say that unless she was going to file a lawsuit. And I think she should. If you are thinking about suing Disney, now is the time to sue Disney. They are weak. There's blood in the water. Sue Disney now. So I think the time to strike for Carano is now. Now. So I'm looking forward to that lawsuit. I think it's going to be great. Blood is in the water. Blood is in the water. So Wintrell, I'm going to stay on top of that. Trust me. And the more I hear, including in the back channels, because we have back channels to Gina, right? I will let you guys know on that. Muscle Mommy taking down Iger. I like Bill. Aaron says the best guests in no particular order: Mike, Mexican Iron Man, Jonas, VR, Scott, Adam K, Virginia Gentleman. Yeah, we'll have all those guys on. I think Scott, VR, Jonas, Mexican Iron Man, Adam K for sure, Virginia Gentleman. All those guys will be on. We're also going to do a charity stream probably in a week or so. Another charity stream, hopefully for another military-related cause, but I'll get back to you guys on that. So we will have a lot of charity for you guys out there. Gina can sue for defamation. Defamation. They ruined her reputation. So they can do for defamation, Torgo. So if she can prove the bots are linked to Disney and they sent them to destroy her reputation, they can get her. And there were a ton of bots. They know there were a ton of bots. We know that. It's confirmed. Eclipse Warlord said, hello, too many people streaming at the same time. It's fine. It happens. Listen, guys, I love my brothers. And whether you are catching me live or whether you're catching the replay, I appreciate you. Senpai appreciates you. Senpai loves you. And really, really cares for all of my people, right? I care for my people. I care for them, you know? Let's see here. So who's going right now? We've got Valiant going right now. So in fact, I'll send you guys over to Valiant as I wrap here because I am on a tight leash. So guys, I'm going to send you over to Raid Valiant Renegade. Please let him know that I send him with love. I send you guys over there with love, and I will catch you all on the next one. Peace.